Hello there, and welcome to the Deep Space Relax channel. I'm so glad you made your way here, because tonight we'll drift through the quiet wonders of the world we call home. Wherever you are, let this be your moment to slow down. Let the noise fade, the edges soften, and your thoughts settle like leaves resting on still water. Tonight, we're staying right here on Earth. Life on this planet is far more mysterious, resilient, and extraordinary than most of us ever realize. From glowing oceans to jellyfish that seem immortal, from ancient underground forests to microscopic beings that can survive in space, Earth is alive in ways that may surprise you, calm you, and stir something deep within. Some of what you hear may gently change how you see the world. Other discoveries might simply drift past like petals on a breeze, soft, curious, and quietly unforgettable. If this kind of peaceful wonder brings you calm or sparks your curiosity, consider liking and subscribing. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, just get comfortable, take a slow breath, and let's begin this soothing journey through the quiet miracles of life on Earth. There is a jellyfish that can live forever. In the warm coastal waters of the Mediterranean and in oceans around the world, drifts a creature that challenges one of nature's most universal rules. Turritopsis dohrnii, often called the immortal jellyfish, possesses an extraordinary ability. When injured, aging, or under threat, it can revert its body back to an earlier stage of life. Like a butterfly turning once more into a caterpillar, it transforms into its polyp form, the jellyfish equivalent of childhood, and begins again. This process is not just theoretical. It has been observed repeatedly in laboratories. The jellyfish can cycle through its life stages again and again, potentially without limit, unless it is eaten or destroyed. While it doesn't unlock eternal life for humans, it reminds us that nature's imagination reaches far beyond our own. Here, drifting quietly through the sea, is a creature that turns back time, not once, but over and over. Trees whisper to each other through a hidden network. In the stillness of a forest, a secret exchange is happening beneath your feet. Trees, once believed to stand alone as silent giants, are connected through underground networks of fungal threads known as mycorrhizae. Through these delicate filaments, trees share nutrients, send chemical messages, and even warn one another about pests or drought. Older trees, sometimes called mother trees, can support younger ones by channeling sugars and resources through this hidden web. It's not just a poetic idea. It's a biological system so vast and intricate that some scientists call it the wood wide web. A birch might support a neighboring fir. A dying tree may pass its final reserves back into the forest. It's a quiet form of intelligence, not conscious, but deeply cooperative. In this silent world of roots and fungi, the forest is not a collection of individuals, but one breathing, interconnected community. Tardigrades can survive in outer space. They are tiny, unusual, and astonishingly resilient. They're called tardigrades, though many people know them as water bears. These microscopic creatures are less than a millimeter long and, under a microscope, resemble wrinkled, eight-legged gummy bears. But their size is deceptive. Tardigrades can endure conditions that would destroy nearly any other life form. Temperatures close to absolute zero, extreme heat, crushing pressure, intense radiation, and even the vacuum of space. In 2007, scientists sent them into orbit, and they returned alive. How do they manage this? by entering a state known as cryptobiosis. In this mode, they almost completely dry themselves out and suspend their metabolism. They don't die. They wait, sometimes for years, and when water returns, they awaken. Tardigrades show us that life is tougher, stranger, and more adaptable than we often imagine, even when drifting beyond Earth itself. Oxygen was once a deadly poison. Today, we breathe it with every moment. But billions of years ago, oxygen was one of the most dangerous substances on Earth. Over 2 billion years ago, early microbial life thrived in an atmosphere without oxygen. These ancient organisms, known as anaerobes, were the planet's earliest inhabitants. Then came cyanobacteria, tiny photosynthetic microbes that began releasing oxygen as a byproduct. At first, the amounts were small, but over millions of years, oxygen accumulated in the oceans and atmosphere, triggering what is now called the Great Oxidation Event. For countless anaerobic species, oxygen was toxic. It damaged cells, disrupted ancient metabolic systems, and led to a massive extinction. But for other organisms, this new gas became a powerful energy source. Eventually, oxygen fueled the rise of complex multicellular life, including us. In a sense, the breath that sustains you is also the legacy of an ancient planetary upheaval. Oxygen is not only life-giving, its history is written into every inhale. Some plants eat animals. We often imagine plants as passive, green, and gentle, quietly reaching toward the sun. But not all plants wait patiently for nutrients. Some hunt. Carnivorous plants like the Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, and sundew attract insects with sweet scents or sticky nectar, and then trap them. A Venus flytrap actually counts the movements of its prey, snapping shut only after it senses multiple touches. Pitcher plants create deep, slippery chambers filled with digestive enzymes where insects fall and cannot escape. Sundews shimmer with tiny, sticky tentacles that slowly curl around their prey like delicate arms. Why do they do this? Because they grow in nutrient-poor soil, where nitrogen is scarce. So they adapt, not with teeth or claws, but with strategy and patience. These quiet predators remind us that survival takes many forms, and even the softest green leaf can conceal a hidden hunger. Every leaf is a masterpiece of design, with a pattern as unique as a fingerprint. Hold a leaf up to the light, and you'll see something remarkable. Each one is a finely tuned system, soft to the touch, yet engineered with microscopic precision. At its center is a branching network of veins, like rivers spreading across a landscape. These veins transport water, minerals, and sugars throughout the leaf, powering photosynthesis. The surface is dotted with tiny pores called stomata, microscopic valves that open and close to allow carbon dioxide in and oxygen out. The green pigment chlorophyll captures sunlight and converts it into energy, not only for the plant, but for nearly all life on Earth. Some leaves track the movement of the sun, others repel water, trap insects, or retain heat. No two leaves are identical in structure or function. Each one is a quiet work of art, fragile, intricate, and alive with purpose. Some oceans glow in the dark. Imagine walking along a quiet shoreline at night and watching the waves shimmer with an eerie blue-green light. This phenomenon is real, and it's caused by tiny living organisms called bioluminescent plankton. When disturbed by movement, a breaking wave, or the sweep of a swimmer's hand, they emit flashes of cold light. It isn't reflected moonlight, but a chemical reaction happening inside their bodies. similar to the glow of fireflies in the night air. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico or the Maldives, this glow can illuminate entire coastlines, transforming the sea into a luminous dreamscape. No electricity, no illusion, just biology. Bioluminescence has evolved many times in Earth's oceans and serves many purposes, from camouflage to communication. And there, along the darkened shore, the ocean offers a quiet, radiant reminder that even in the deepest darkness, life still finds a way to shine. Your body is more microbe than human. You may feel like a single individual, one body, one mind, but in truth, you are an entire ecosystem. Your body contains more microbial cells than human ones. Trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and archaea live on your skin, in your mouth, and deep inside your gut. This community is known as your microbiome, and it's not just a passenger. It helps digest food, regulate your immune system, produce vitamins, and even influence mood and behavior. In many ways, the microbiome functions as an extension of your body's intelligence, a vast invisible partner in nearly everything you do. Some microbes defend you, others compete with invaders, and just as no two fingerprints are the same, your microbiome is uniquely yours. So the next time you feel alone, remember, you are never truly by yourself. You are a living world within a world. Ants can build bridges out of their own bodies. In the forests of South America, army ants move constantly, flowing across the jungle floor like a living current. When they encounter a gap or obstacle, they don't retreat. Instead, they construct bridges using their own bodies. One ant anchors itself to a branch, another climbs onto it, then another and another, until a living structure forms, flexible and strong. Thousands of ants may connect this way, adjusting continuously to the weight and movement above them. When the colony finishes crossing, the bridge dissolves and the ants continue their march. These living structures aren't directed by a leader. They emerge from local decisions, each ant responding to its neighbors through instinct and contact. It's a remarkable example of collective intelligence, a shape-shifting structure made entirely of life, many bodies acting as one. Octopuses can rewrite their own DNA. In the silent depths of the ocean, the octopus drifts like a dream, shape-shifting, color-shifting, and watching with eerie alien eyes. It's already one of the most intelligent creatures on Earth. But what lies beneath is even stranger. Octopuses can edit their own rRNA, the molecular scripts that translate DNA into proteins, while most creatures remain bound to the genetic blueprint they were born with. Octopuses can make real-time adjustments to how their genes are expressed. This allows them to fine-tune their biology as they go, altering how their neurons function, how they perceive their surroundings, or how they react to temperature and stress. It isn't the same as rewriting their DNA, but it grants them extraordinary flexibility. We still don't fully understand why or exactly how they do this, yet it adds another layer of mystery to a being that already feels otherworldly. Some animals appear to recognize themselves. Most animals can see their reflection, but only a few seem to understand it. Self-recognition is rare in nature and is often considered a sign of higher awareness, a sense of identity. In the mirror test, an animal is marked with a spot it cannot see without a reflection. If it tries to inspect or touch that mark while looking in the mirror, it suggests the animal realizes the image is itself. So far, only a small number of species have passed. Great apes, dolphins, elephants, magpies, and possibly manta rays. Even certain fish show hints of mirror awareness. This doesn't mean they possess human-style consciousness, but it suggests something remarkable, that awareness may not belong to us alone. The spark of self could flicker within minds very different from ours. Across the tree of life, the boundary between I and other may not be as distinct as we once believed. Life has endured 5 mass extinctions. Life on Earth is ancient and astonishingly resilient. Over the past 500 million years, our planet has faced at least 5 mass extinction events. Each one eliminated the majority of species alive at the time. The most devastating, known as the Permian extinction, erased over 90% of marine life and 70% of land species. Volcanoes, asteroids, climate upheavals. Each time the world transformed, and each time life returned. Not the same life, but something new. From the ashes of extinction, ecosystems reshaped themselves. Small survivors became the ancestors of entirely new lineages. It is a quiet testament to biology's persistence. Life doesn't merely survive, it adapts, evolves, and reinvents itself. We are part of that unfolding story, born from ancient survivors who endured darkness and silence and still found a way forward, a thread unbroken even through catastrophe. Mushrooms can influence the behavior of insects. In the cool, shadowed dampness of a forest, a strange drama unfolds, blurring the line between organism and puppet master. Certain fungi like Ophiocordyceps infect insects such as ants, infiltrating their bodies and nervous systems. Once inside, the fungus grows, releasing chemicals that alter the insect's behavior. The ant, now under fungal control, climbs high into vegetation and clamps onto a leaf or branch. Then it stops. The fungus kills its host and sprouts a stalk from the body, releasing spores to infect others below. It's a grim, precise cycle refined over millions of years. Scientists still don't fully understand how the fungus manipulates the nervous system so effectively. But in this quiet biological war, even the smallest organisms wield astonishing power. The forest is more than green and tranquil. It is filled with hidden strategies, some elegant and some unsettling. The color blue is rare in nature. Look around you, the sky, the ocean, the shimmer of butterfly wings. Blue seems everywhere, and yet in the natural world, blue is among the rarest pigments. Most blue creatures, like blue jays, morpho butterflies, or peacocks, don't actually contain blue pigment. Instead, their color comes from structure. Microscopic patterns on their surfaces bend and scatter light in a way that reflects blue wavelengths. It's called structural coloration, an optical effect created by shape rather than dye. True blue pigments are difficult for living organisms to produce, and only a few have achieved it. That makes every natural blue something of a trick, an interaction between light and the smallest architecture. The next time you see a flash of blue in the wild, remember, you're not just seeing color. You're seeing light dancing at the boundary of biology and physics. Elephants grieve their dead. Across the grasses and dust of the savannah, elephants do something few other animals are known to do. They mourn. When an elephant encounters the bones of a deceased relative or companion, it slows down. It touches the remains with its trunk. It lingers. Some have been observed returning to the same location years later, gently examining the bones once more. Elephants have even been seen standing vigil over the dying, staying close, refusing to leave. Their grief may not mirror ours exactly, but it is deeply felt. They form strong family bonds, remember long-lost companions, and seem to carry emotional weight. It is a quiet truth that humbles us, that empathy, loss, and love may not belong solely to humans. In the hearts of these great gentle beings, something ancient and tender stirs, a recognition of life's impermanence. Coral reefs are built by tiny animal architects. Coral reefs are among the most vibrant ecosystems on Earth, yet they are not built by plants or stone. They are constructed by animals. Each coral is a colony of tiny creatures called polyps. They feed by extending stinging tentacles to capture plankton, and they create their homes by secreting calcium carbonate, forming the stony skeletons that become reefs. Over time, these skeletons accumulate, building massive underwater structures that can stretch for hundreds of miles. Within these reefs, life flourishes. Fish, crustaceans, mollusks, sea turtles, and countless others. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs support nearly a quarter of all marine life. They are living cities formed not by design, but by the slow labor of millions of unseen builders. Delicate, colorful, and deeply vulnerable, reefs remind us how much life can rise from the smallest hands. Slime molds can solve mazes without a brain. They look like something from science fiction, and in many ways, they behave like it. Slime molds are single-celled organisms that live in soil, decaying wood, and damp places. They have no brain, no nervous system, yet they can solve mazes. In laboratory experiments, scientists place a slime mold in a maze with food at 2 exits. The slime spreads outward in every direction, then retracts, leaving behind the most efficient path between the 2 points. It doesn't think, it doesn't plan, yet somehow it finds the solution. Slime molds use chemical gradients and feedback to explore their surroundings, a form of distributed intelligence embedded in their bodies. They have even been used to model transportation networks, revealing surprising similarities to human systems. It is a strange and mesmerizing reminder that intelligence takes many forms. Not all of them require a brain. The Amazon makes its own rain. The Amazon rainforest doesn't simply receive rain, it generates it. Each day, as sunlight warms the canopy, billions of trees release moisture into the air through a process called transpiration. This vapor rises, cools, and condenses into clouds, which then fall again as rain, nourishing the forest below. It's a cycle so vast and efficient that the Amazon produces much of its own weather. This self-sustaining loop helps regulate the climate of an entire continent and even influences weather patterns across the Atlantic. The forest is not just a collection of trees, but a vast breathing system. When parts of it are lost through deforestation or fire, the cycle weakens, rainfall declines, drought spreads. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, but it is also the beating heart of South America's skies, pulsing moisture, breath, and life into the air itself. Some frogs freeze solid and still survive. In the icy stillness of winter, certain frogs undergo one of the most astonishing transformations in the animal kingdom. They freeze, not merely slowing down, but turning solid. The wood frog of North America can survive being frozen for days or even weeks. Its heart stops, its blood becomes ice, organs shut down, and its body stiffens completely. Yet thanks to natural antifreeze compounds in its tissues, the frog's cells remain intact. When spring arrives and temperatures rise, the ice melts and the frog awakens, hopping away as if nothing had happened. It is not metaphor. It is cryogenic survival shaped by evolution. Scientists study these frogs to understand how to preserve human tissues and explore extreme biological resilience. For now, they remain quiet miracles of adaptation, tiny amphibians that defy winter's grip and return, heartbeat by heartbeat, to the living world. Whales can sing across entire oceans. Beneath the surface of the sea, songs move through the darkness, long, slow, and haunting. The calls of blue whales can travel thousands of miles underwater. These low-frequency vocalizations are among the deepest and most powerful sounds made by any animal, and in the still depths they can carry from coast to coast. Whales use these songs to locate mates, navigate, and communicate across immense distances. Each population has its own dialect, and their songs can change over time, passed down like oral traditions. Some species, like the humpback, compose long, intricate melodies that evolve year by year, with different whales adding new phrases. We may not understand everything they are saying, but we know it matters. These are not random noises. They are messages exchanged across a watery world among beings who have roamed Earth's oceans far longer than any human memory. Seeds can lie dormant for thousands of years. Seeds are small time travelers. They may look simple and lifeless, yet inside they carry the blueprint for life and sometimes astonishing patience. Some seeds can remain dormant for decades, even centuries, waiting for the perfect moment to sprout. In one remarkable case, a date palm seed discovered at a 2,000-year-old archaeological site was successfully germinated in modern times. It had slept through empires, seasons, and silence. Then, with water and warmth, it awakened and grew. Many seeds survive freezing, fire, or burial beneath meters of soil. They are equipped with protective coats, intricate chemistry, and finely tuned sensitivity to their environment. When the moment is right, not sooner, they begin again. In every seed rests a quiet promise that life can wait, endure, and return. A single grain of stillness holding the future within its shell. Bioluminescence has evolved over 40 times. The glow of fireflies, the shimmer of plankton in the surf, the flicker of a deep-sea anglerfish's lure. These lights are not borrowed. They are produced by life itself. Bioluminescence, the ability to generate light through chemical reactions, has evolved independently at least 40 times across the tree of life. From bacteria to fungi, from squid to jellyfish, organisms have developed their own ways to shine. Some use light to lure prey, others to warn predators. Some use it to find mates or to disappear in plain sight. In the deep ocean, where sunlight never reaches, bioluminescence is everywhere, a drifting constellation of living stars. The chemistry is elegant. An enzyme called luciferase reacts with a light-producing molecule known as luciferin, releasing energy as visible light. Simple, silent, and breathtaking. A shared language of glow written again and again in caves, in waves, and in the farthest reaches of darkness. Your bones are made of stardust. This is not poetry. It is physics. The calcium in your bones, the very framework that holds you upright, was forged in the core of ancient stars. In the final moments of a massive star's life, elements heavier than helium are formed through nuclear fusion. When that star explodes in a supernova, those elements scatter across space. Over time, they drift into clouds of gas and dust, mixing and settling until gravity gathers them together once more. Planets form, oceans rise. Eventually, on one small blue world, life begins. The calcium, iron, carbon, and oxygen within your body all originated in those ancient stars. You do not merely live in the universe. You are the universe arranged in a pattern that can think, breathe, and wonder. You are, quite literally, stardust walking across a world shaped by light and time. Some insects can see in ultraviolet. When you look at a flower, you see color, perhaps yellow, red, or blue. But to many insects, especially bees, flowers appear entirely different. That is because they can see ultraviolet light, a portion of the spectrum invisible to the human eye. To them, a plain-looking petal may blaze with glowing patterns, landing guides, and radiant rings, all directing them toward nectar. These patterns are not only beautiful, they are functional, shaped by mutual benefit. The flower is pollinated, the bee is nourished. Other insects use UV vision to navigate, find mates, or detect predators. Even the humble cabbage butterfly sees a world tinted with shades we cannot imagine. So while we share the same planet, we do not share the same visual reality. There is a hidden spectrum all around us, filled with signals and colors we will never fully see. Kangaroos can pause their pregnancies. In the heart of the Australian outback, kangaroos carry a remarkable ability, the power to pause development within their own bodies. When conditions are harsh, or when a joey already occupies the pouch, a mother kangaroo can delay the growth of a fertilized egg. This phenomenon, known as embryonic diapause, allows her body to wait for the right moment to continue the pregnancy. She may be caring for one joey outside the womb, one in the pouch, and have a third on pause at the same time. When food becomes plentiful or the pouch is vacated, the embryo resumes development. It is an ingenious survival strategy for an unpredictable climate. This natural pause button allows kangaroos to time reproduction with remarkable precision. In a land of extremes, nature has granted them flexibility, a quiet mastery over time, written into their biology. Some fish can change their sex. Within the vibrant complexity of coral reefs, certain fish possess an astonishing trait. They can change from male to female or the reverse. Clownfish, for instance, live in small social groups with a strict hierarchy. The largest individual is female, and only she breeds with the dominant male. If she dies, the male transforms, becoming the new matriarch. In other species, like wrasses, females can become males, often when the dominant male disappears. This shift is not merely behavioral, it is biological. Hormones adjust, organs restructure, roles reverse. It is a natural adaptation that preserves reproduction in ever-changing environments. In the ocean, identity is not always fixed. It can shift with need, with opportunity, or with the movement of chance. In these quiet transformations, we see how fluid life can be, flexible, responsive, and endlessly surprising. Birds navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Each year, birds travel thousands of miles across mountains, oceans, and continents, returning to the same nesting sites with astonishing precision. How do they do it? One answer lies deep within their biology: the ability to sense Earth's magnetic field. Some birds possess tiny crystals of magnetite in their beaks or heads, functioning like internal compasses. Others may rely on specialized proteins in their eyes, enabling them to perceive magnetic fields as visual patterns. This sense, known as magnetoception, works alongside the sun, stars, and landscape to guide their journey. It is a subtle and elegant system, an ancient map encoded in the nervous system. We do not yet understand every detail, but we know it works. Birds find their way home, not only through memory or instinct, but by feeling the invisible forces that surround the Earth itself. The Earth breathes through the carbon cycle. The Earth is alive in more ways than we often realize, and one of its deepest rhythms is the carbon cycle. Carbon moves through air, water, plants, animals, and rocks in a slow, interconnected flow. When you exhale, you release carbon dioxide. Plants absorb it during photosynthesis, building leaves, stems, and roots. Animals consume those plants. Decomposers break down what remains. Volcanoes emit carbon. Oceans absorb it. Some of this carbon becomes fossil fuels. Some become stone. Some lingers in the atmosphere. This global exchange helps regulate climate, sustain life, and shape ecosystems. It is a cycle that unfolds not only across years, but across eons. And today, it is out of balance, shifted by human activity. Understanding this cycle reveals Earth not as static, but as breathing, in and out, light and dark, growth and decay. A living system quietly turning through space. Bacteria were the first builders of Earth's surface. Before plants, before animals, even before the oxygen we breathe, there were bacteria, and some of them built structures that still exist today. Stromatolites are ancient rock-like formations found in shallow waters around the world. They are formed by cyanobacteria, microbes that trap and bind sediments over time, layer upon layer. Fossilized stromatolites date back more than 3.5 billion years. They are among the oldest evidence of life on Earth. These microbial communities helped shape the planet's surface and atmosphere, releasing oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Eventually, that oxygen transformed the world, paving the way for complex life. Today, living stromatolites can still be found in places like Shark Bay, Australia. Quiet, strange, and ancient, they stand as monuments to the earliest engineers, builders without tools, architects without eyes, patient microscopic life laying the foundation for everything that followed. Dolphins have names for each other. In the shimmering blue of the ocean, dolphins communicate through an intricate language of clicks and whistles. But there is something even more extraordinary. Dolphins appear to have names. Each one develops a distinct signature whistle early in life, a kind of acoustic identity. Other dolphins learn and remember this sound, using it to call out to specific individuals. It is not simple imitation, it is recognition. When researchers played back a dolphin's own signature whistle, the animal reacted much like a person turning when hearing their name. This behavior suggests a level of social memory and individual awareness, once believed to be uniquely human. Dolphins live in complex, shifting groups. The ability to identify and keep track of individuals helps them maintain bonds, manage relationships, and navigate their fluid social world. In the deep ocean, dolphins speak, and in their calls we glimpse something remarkable, the roots of language echoing beneath the waves. The Sahara was once a lush, green paradise. Today, the Sahara stretches like a golden sea, vast, hot, and dry. But not so long ago, it was something entirely different. Around 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, much of the Sahara was green. Rain fell regularly, rivers flowed, lakes shimmered beneath the sun. Wildlife roamed the grasslands. Elephants, crocodiles, giraffes, and humans lived there, leaving behind cave paintings that depict abundant life. This period, known as the African humid period, was driven by subtle changes in Earth's orbit that strengthened seasonal monsoons. Eventually, the rains faded and the desert returned. Yet beneath the sands lie ancient lakebeds, fossilized trees, and buried traces of a transformed world. The Sahara is not merely a desert. It is a memory, a reminder that even the harshest landscapes were once soft, green, and alive, and might be again one day. Bees can understand the concept of zero. They are tiny, they buzz, and they help pollinate our world. Yet bees can also do something astonishing. They appear to understand zero. In experiments, bees were trained to associate smaller numbers of shapes with a sweet reward. When shown a blank card, no shapes at all, they correctly chose it over cards displaying one or more shapes. This suggests that bees grasp the abstract idea that none is less than some. Only a few animals, such as chimpanzees, dolphins, and parrots, have demonstrated this kind of numerical reasoning. That bees, with their tiny brains, can do the same is remarkable. It hints at a form of intelligence not limited by brain size, but shaped by necessity and evolution. Inside a hive, thousands of minds function as one, yet even a single bee holds surprises. A small body, a large mind, a quiet buzz, and a brilliant brain. Wolves change the shape of rivers. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in the 1990s, something extraordinary occurred. They did not simply affect deer populations, they reshaped the entire landscape. With fewer grazing animals, vegetation along riverbanks recovered. Trees and shrubs grew taller, birds returned, beavers built dams. The healthier plant life stabilized the soil, reducing erosion and altering how water moved. In some areas, rivers became narrower and more winding, more stable. This phenomenon, known as a trophic cascade, shows how a single species can influence an entire ecosystem. Wolves, by simply behaving as wolves do, created a ripple effect that transformed forests, waterways, and animal populations. It is a powerful reminder that nature is interconnected in ways we often overlook. Every creature plays a role, sometimes subtle, sometimes profound. And in the howl of a returning wolf, the land begins to heal. Flowers can hear the buzz of bees. We often imagine flowers as passive, colorful, fragrant, and still. But some flowers are listening. Research has shown that certain plants respond to the sound of a bee's buzz. When a pollinator approaches, the vibration of its wings prompts the flower to produce sweeter nectar within minutes. The flower does not have ears, of course, but its petals vibrate in response to sound, acting like sensory organs that detect specific frequencies. This ensures the plant offers a richer reward precisely when a pollinator is nearby. It is a quiet exchange. The bee calls, the flower responds. This subtle acoustic sensitivity adds another layer to our understanding of plant behavior. Even without nerves or brains, plants can sense, react, and adapt in real time. The garden is not silent. It is filled with delicate humming conversations. Lichens are two organisms living as one. On stones, tree bark, and mountain cliffs, you will find lichens, simple crust-like patches of color clinging to the surface. Yet these quiet organisms conceal a surprising truth. They are not a single life form, but two, sometimes more. A lichen is a partnership between a fungus and an alga or cyanobacterium. The fungus provides structure and protection. The photosynthetic partner produces food from sunlight. Together, they survive in places too harsh for either alone, from Arctic tundra to dry deserts. It is not always a gentle relationship. Sometimes the fungus dominates, shaping the alga into submission. But the result is resilience, a blended life form able to thrive where few others can. Lichens are ancient, stable, and essential to many ecosystems. They break down rock into soil, provide nourishment, and create shelter. Two species, one life, a quiet collaboration written into the surface of the world. Water bears may outlive every other species. They are microscopic, soft-bodied, and surprisingly endearing. But tardigrades, also known as water bears, are among the most resilient organisms on Earth. You have encountered them before in this list, surviving space, yet their toughness goes even further. Tardigrades can endure freezing, boiling temperatures, intense radiation, crushing pressure, and complete dehydration. They have been found on mountain peaks, at the bottom of oceans, and deep within solid ice. When conditions become harsh, they curl into a dormant state called a ton, essentially pressing pause on life itself. In this state, they can survive for decades, perhaps even centuries. Some scientists believe tardigrades could withstand mass extinction events that eliminate larger life forms, from asteroid impacts to global radiation. They are not invincible, but they are astonishingly prepared. In the quiet corners of the world, the water bear waits, tiny, enduring, and ready to begin again. Naked mole rats do not age like other mammals. They are unusual, wrinkled, and live underground. Yet naked mole rats are among the most biologically fascinating mammals alive. Unlike most creatures, they appear to defy typical aging patterns. They do not show the usual increase in mortality risk as they grow older. They resist cancer, tolerate low oxygen environments, and can live up to 30 years, an exceptionally long lifespan for a rodent. Their cells remain stable. Their proteins resist damage. In fact, a 5-year-old mole rat looks remarkably similar to a 25-year-old one internally, at least. They live in complex underground colonies with a single breeding queen. Much like insects, scientists study them for clues about longevity, cancer resistance, and resilience under stress. In the dim tunnels beneath the earth, these creatures lead quiet, hidden lives, small and soft-skinned, yet carrying secrets that may one day help us all. The human body contains trillions of cells. You are made of stardust and stories, and also of about 30 trillion cells. Every breath, every thought, every heartbeat is the work of countless microscopic components, each with its own task. Muscle cells contract, neurons fire, red blood cells carry oxygen, skin cells renew themselves, cells in your gut digest food, immune cells stand guard. Together, these different cells create one unified body, a single being formed from many parts. Yet your body is never still. Cells are constantly dying and being replaced. You rebuild yourself little by little every day. You are not fixed. You are a living symphony of cellular cooperation. And somehow, it all remains in balance. Even now, as you rest, millions of cells are working quietly to keep you whole. You are not one single thing. You are a community, a miracle of coordination, humming softly beneath your skin. Some parrots can outsmart a toddler. They are colorful, vocal, and often playful. But parrots are also among the most intelligent animals on Earth. Studies show that certain species, such as the African grey parrot, can count, understand ideas like same and different, and even grasp the concept of zero. One famous parrot named Alex learned to identify colors, shapes, and quantities. He could request what he wanted, show frustration, and respond to complex questions. In many tasks, he performed as well as, or better than, a human toddler. Parrots also use their intelligence in the wild. They solve problems, navigate social groups, and even use tools. Their brains are structured differently from ours, yet evolution has carved a parallel path. When a parrot speaks, it is not simply copying. It may also be thinking. Bright feathers, brighter minds, and a small bird that may be wiser than you expect. The ocean holds more life than all land combined. We walk on land. We live beneath the open sky. But most of Earth's life exists beneath the waves. The ocean covers more than 70% of the planet's surface and contains the majority of all living biomass. From the tiniest plankton to the largest whales, from glowing jellyfish to forests of kelp, marine life thrives in forms almost too numerous to count. Coral reefs, open waters, deep trenches. Each supports its own community. Even a single drop of seawater can contain thousands of microscopic organisms. We have explored only a small portion of the deep ocean. Much of it remains untouched, mysterious, and full of unknown life. The sea is not empty. It is alive, a vast living world beneath the surface, pulsing with currents and song. The greatest wilderness on Earth is blue. Earth's oldest living creature is a quaking tree. In a quiet grove in Utah stands what may be the oldest known living organism on Earth. It does not appear ancient, just a cluster of ordinary trees with trembling leaves. But underground, they are all connected. This is Pando, a clonal colony of quaking aspens. Each trunk is genetically identical, part of a single root system that may be over 80,000 years old. Pando does not reproduce through seeds. Instead, it sends up new stems from its roots, generation after generation, forming a living forest made from one tree. While individual trunks die and grow again, the organism as a whole persists. It has survived ice ages, storms, and the passing of time. A forest that is also one being, ancient, quiet, and still very much alive, rooted in place, yet always reaching toward the sky. Some viruses can be beneficial. When we think of viruses, we usually think of disease. But not all viruses are harmful. Some play vital roles in shaping life, evolution, and even our health. Certain viruses attack harmful bacteria in the human gut, helping maintain microbial balance. Others influence gene expression, insert useful DNA into our genomes, or help cells adapt to stress. In fact, nearly 8% of the human genome comes from ancient viral DNA passed down over millions of years. Some of these viral genes are now essential to our biology, involved in processes from brain development to reproduction. Viruses are not only invaders, they are part of life's history and part of its future. Tiny threads woven into the fabric of who we are, not just as threats, but sometimes as allies. Sharks have been on Earth longer than trees. Sharks are often seen as modern predators, sleek, swift, and formidable. But their lineage stretches far back in time. Sharks have existed for over 400 million years. Trees, by comparison, appeared around 350 million years ago. That means sharks were swimming through Earth's oceans before a single leaf shaded the land. They have survived 5 mass extinctions, including the one that ended the dinosaurs. Their basic body structure has changed little over time, a sign of how effective and adaptable they are. Today, sharks come in hundreds of forms, from gentle whale sharks to hammerheads and deep-sea lantern sharks, yet all carry the legacy of deep time, a lineage almost unimaginably old. Each glide through the water shaped by eons, silent, steady, and enduring. Rainforests make their own clouds. Rainforests are not only shaped by weather, they help create it. Every day, trees draw water from the soil and release it through their leaves in a process known as transpiration. This moisture rises, cools, and condenses into clouds. In places like the Amazon, this continuous cycling of water helps sustain rainfall, not only locally, but across vast regions. When the forest is healthy, it supports its own climate. But when trees are removed, the impact is profound. Less moisture leads to fewer clouds and eventually less rain. A tipping point can be reached where the forest can no longer sustain itself. Rainforests are not passive landscapes. They are engines of the atmosphere, breathing out mist, cloud, and life. When you stand beneath the canopy, you are standing within the lungs of a continent. Some crabs decorate themselves with living sponges. In the coastal shallows, one small creature practices a quiet form of camouflage with a twist. Decorator crabs do not merely blend into their surroundings. They become part of them. They carefully gather pieces of algae, seaweed, and sponges and attach them to their shells using hooked hairs. Some even place living sponges on their backs, which continue to grow as the crab moves. This serves several purposes: hiding from predators, mimicking the environment, and sometimes gaining chemical protection. The sponge may release toxins or unpleasant tastes, making the crab less appealing to eat. It is a partnership, not quite symbiosis, but close. A moving reef, a creature wearing its home like a costume, constantly adjusting to remain unseen. In the quiet waters, disguise becomes art. Insects outnumber humans by billions to one. The world belongs to insects. For every human on Earth, there are an estimated 200 million insects. They inhabit every ecosystem, from rainforest canopies to frozen tundra, from desert sands to ocean shores. Beetles alone account for nearly a quarter of all known animal species. Insects pollinate crops, recycle nutrients, break down waste, and feed countless other creatures. They have existed for over 400 million years and have survived every extinction event. Some live for only minutes, others for years. They build cities, wage wars, and even farm. Their societies can be complex, their adaptations endless. Though small, they are powerful, shaping the world in ways most of us never notice. We may believe we rule the land, but insects were here long before us, and they will likely remain long after we are gone. Birds of paradise perform elaborate dances to mate. Deep in the rainforests of New Guinea and nearby islands, birds of paradise display astonishing beauty. Feathers shimmer in metallic blues, fiery oranges, and deep velvety blacks. Some grow plumes like streamers. Others spread fans or bounce on elongated tail wires. But it is not only about appearance. These birds perform intricate dances, each species with its own choreography. They hop, spin, bow, and pose in precise sequences, accompanied by clicks, whistles, and wing flutters. Females watch carefully, selecting mates based on performance. This intense selection has driven the evolution of some of the most extravagant traits in the animal kingdom. Behind every dance lies a quiet story of patience, display, and life's boundless creativity. In these courtship rituals, we glimpse evolution's flair for drama and nature's love of spectacle. Spiders use silk that is stronger than steel. In the quiet corners of attics, trees, and garden fences, spiders spin something remarkable. Their silk, drawn from their bodies in long, delicate strands, is among the strongest materials in nature. Weight for weight, spider silk is stronger than steel and far more flexible. It can stretch without snapping, absorb immense energy and form complex structures such as webs, nets, and egg sacs. Each thread is composed of proteins arranged in microscopic patterns, assembled with extraordinary precision. Different spiders produce different types of silk, each suited to a purpose: sticky, smooth, tough, or soft. Some can even spin silk underwater or while gliding through the air. Scientists study spider silk for applications in medical sutures, protective materials, and lightweight engineering. Yet the spider continues its quiet work, crafting marvels from within, one silken thread at a time. Fireflies use light to speak to each other. On warm summer nights, the darkness comes alive with tiny flashes of light. Fireflies, also called lightning bugs, communicate through bioluminescent signals, blinking patterns that vary by species, region, and even gender. Males fly through the air, flashing specific rhythms. Females answer with timed responses from grass or tree branches. It is a courtship dialogue written in light. Some species blink slowly, others rapidly. A few emit a steady, gentle glow. Inside their abdomens, fireflies combine chemicals such as luciferin and oxygen to produce this cool, glowing light, a reaction that generates no heat. It is one of nature's quietest and most enchanting conversations. Fireflies also use their light to warn predators. Some species taste bitter or are mildly toxic. Their glow is both beauty and signal, a living language of flashes that dances through the night. Some monkeys use medicinal plants to heal. In the forests of Africa and South America, certain monkeys do more than simply eat plants. They use them as medicine. Researchers have observed chimpanzees and other primates deliberately seeking out bitter, non-nutritive plants when ill or injured. They chew the pith of particular stems, swallow rough leaves whole, or rub certain substances onto their skin. Many of these plants contain antibacterial, antifungal, or antiparasitic compounds. One example: chimpanzees suffering from intestinal parasites often consume bitter leaves that help expel the worms. They do not eat these plants casually, only when symptoms appear. This behavior is known as zoopharmacognosy, animal self-medication. It challenges the assumption that only humans use healing remedies. The knowledge may be instinctive, learned, or both, but it reveals a quiet intelligence. Among branches and leaves, a living pharmacy waits, and some animals already know how to use it. Algae produce most of the oxygen you breathe. Every breath you take is a gift, not only from trees, but from the sea. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton drift near the ocean surface, performing photosynthesis just like plants. They absorb sunlight, take in carbon dioxide, and release oxygen. Despite their microscopic size, these algae generate more than half of Earth's breathable oxygen. They form the invisible base of marine food chains, supporting everything from krill to whales. Yet their role in the atmosphere is just as crucial. Without them, the balance of gases would shift, and so would the climate. Phytoplankton respond to temperature, currents, and nutrients, deeply sensitive to changes in the ocean. They are not visible from shore, but they are everywhere, a shimmering cloud beneath the waves. With each breath out, remember the ocean breathes with you. Crows can plan for the future. In the quiet edges of forests and cities, crows move with purpose and surprising foresight. These birds, members of the corvid family, have been seen saving tools for later use, hiding food in safe places, and even trading for rewards. In experiments, crows have chosen a less appealing treat now if it meant receiving something better later. They use sticks to retrieve food, bend wires into hooks, and demonstrate an understanding of cause and effect. Some even remember the faces of people who wronged them and hold grudges for years. Their intelligence rivals that of great apes, despite their smaller brains. Unlike many animals, crows appear to think ahead, not simply react. They are planners, problem solvers, quiet minds wrapped in feathers, watching, learning, and remembering. Snakes can see heat with their faces. For certain snakes, vision goes beyond light. They can also perceive heat. Pit vipers, pythons, and boas possess special organs called pit receptors, small openings on their faces that detect infrared radiation. This allows them to sense the body heat of warm-blooded prey, even in complete darkness. The image they perceive is not like human sight. It resembles a thermal map, glowing shapes of warmth against a cooler background. This ability gives snakes a powerful advantage during night hunts, helping them strike with remarkable accuracy. It is not magic, but physics refined by biology. Some scientists describe it as a sixth sense, a world seen through warmth instead of light, a reminder that every species experiences its own version of reality, shaped by evolution and survival. The Arctic tundra blooms all at once. For most of the year, the Arctic tundra rests beneath ice, wind, and silence. But when summer arrives, brief, bright, and urgent, everything transforms. Within days, frozen soil softens. The sun remains in the sky nearly all day, and the ground bursts into flowers, mosses, and grasses in a sudden, breathtaking bloom. It is not gradual. It is an explosion of color, scent, and life. Pollinators hum. Birds return to nest. Mammals forage and raise their young. All of it must happen within a narrow window, sometimes just 8 weeks before winter returns. It is a surge of energy that ripples across the food web. The tundra, though harsh and still, knows how to seize its moment. In this ancient rhythm of stillness and bloom, life keeps time with the sun. There is a fungus that turns ants into zombies. Deep in tropical forests, a quiet and unsettling transformation takes place. A parasitic fungus, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, infects ants and takes control of their behavior. Once inside, it spreads through the ant's body and eventually reaches its brain. The ant, still alive, is compelled to leave its colony, climb a plant stem, and clamp onto a leaf or twig. There it dies, and the fungus continues to grow. A stalk erupts from the back of the ant's head, releasing spores into the air to infect others. It is not science fiction. It is a biological strategy refined over millions of years. Though disturbing, it is also a striking example of how deeply evolution can shape behavior. The forest holds beauty, but also a darker elegance, and sometimes the smallest organisms wield the most chilling power. Sea cucumbers can liquefy their bodies. At first glance, a sea cucumber may not seem remarkable, just a soft, sausage-shaped creature resting on the ocean floor. Yet it possesses an extraordinary ability. It can turn its body nearly liquid. When threatened or squeezing through tight spaces, a sea cucumber can alter the stiffness of its tissues by rearranging proteins in its connective structure. In seconds, it shifts from firm and solid to almost gelatinous, flowing into cracks and crevices for protection. Just as quickly, it can become firm again. Some species can even expel parts of their internal organs as a defense mechanism, later regenerating them. It is a survival strategy unlike any other, reshaping without bones or conscious effort. Soft, silent, and almost magical. In the slow rhythm of the sea cucumber glides, dissolving and reforming like water shaped into life. Icefish have antifreeze in their blood. In the frigid waters of Antarctica, most creatures would freeze solid. But the icefish does not. Its secret is antifreeze. Icefish have evolved special proteins in their blood that prevent ice crystals from forming. These antifreeze proteins bind to tiny ice particles and stop them from growing, acting as a biochemical shield against the cold. Icefish also possess other unusual adaptations. They lack red blood cells and hemoglobin, giving their blood a pale, almost transparent appearance. Instead, oxygen dissolves directly into their blood plasma and is carried throughout their bodies. They move slowly and deliberately through icy waters, surviving in temperatures that would kill most other vertebrates. Their unusual biology offers insight into how life adapts to extreme conditions. Beneath the Antarctic ice, the icefish drifts, soft-blooded, cold-adapted, and utterly unique. Termites build mounds with natural air conditioning. From the outside, a termite mound may resemble nothing more than a pile of dirt. Inside, it is a marvel of natural engineering, a city constructed by insects. Some mounds rise over 30 feet tall and house millions of termites within a layered network of chambers and tunnels. What is most remarkable is the ventilation system. Termites design their mounds to regulate temperature and airflow through convection currents. Warm air rises and escapes through vents, while cooler air is drawn in from below. This passive climate control maintains a stable interior environment, even when outside temperatures fluctuate wildly. No blueprints, no architects, only instinct, repetition, and cooperation. It is natural climate regulation achieved without tools or technology. Beneath our feet, insects have built structures that rival our own. Quiet, efficient, and beautifully adapted. Some lizards can squirt blood from their eyes. It sounds like myth, yet it is real. The horned lizard, found in parts of North America, has a dramatic and unusual defense. It can shoot blood from its eyes. When threatened by predators, especially canines, the lizard increases pressure in tiny blood vessels near its eyes until they rupture. A thin stream of blood mixed with foul-tasting chemicals sprays outward, sometimes several feet. This sudden and startling display can confuse or repel attackers, giving the lizard a chance to escape. The process does not harm the lizard, and the vessels heal quickly. Though extreme, it is one of many remarkable survival adaptations found in nature. In a world filled with danger, even a drop of blood can become protection. Small, armored, and surprising, the horned lizard shows that evolution never runs out of ideas. Life first emerged in the deep ocean, long before forests, before fish, before bones or eyes. Life began in darkness. Deep within Earth's ancient oceans, hydrothermal vents released mineral-rich water into the surrounding sea. Around these vents, conditions were extreme: scalding heat, crushing pressure, and total absence of sunlight. Yet somehow life found a beginning. The earliest organisms were simple, single-celled, without nuclei, feeding on chemicals instead of light. This process, known as chemosynthesis, may have been the first form of metabolism. These deep-sea environments still host strange and resilient life: tube worms, clams, and heat-loving microbes that thrive without sunlight. Some scientists believe similar environments might exist on other ocean worlds, such as Europa or Enceladus. If so, life there might begin in the same way, far from starlight, Born in the warm breath of stone, the deepest parts of the ocean may also be its oldest cradles. Starfish can regrow their arms. Beneath the tide, a starfish moves slowly across the ocean floor, calm, silent, and wonderfully unusual. If one of its arms is taken by a predator, it does not panic. It grows it back. Starfish are masters of regeneration. Some species can rebuild not only a single arm, but an entire body from one severed limb, as long as part of the central disc remains intact. This remarkable ability comes from a special network of stem cells and decentralized nerves. A starfish has no brain, only a nerve ring and a system of water-filled tubes that help it move and sense its surroundings. It regenerates gradually and patiently, rewriting its own body. Scientists study starfish to better understand healing and regeneration in other species, even in humans. In the quiet of the reef, the starfish offers a gentle reminder that healing is possible and life can renew itself, one piece at a time. Platypuses lay eggs but feed milk. Among Earth's most unusual animals, the platypus stands distinctly unique. It has the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, and the webbed feet of an otter. It lays eggs like a reptile, yet nourishes its young with milk like a mammal. This curious creature is one of only 5 monotremes, mammals that lay eggs instead of giving live birth. Platypuses do not have nipples. Instead, milk seeps through pores in the mother's skin, and the young lap it from her fur. Males carry venomous spurs on their hind legs. They hunt underwater with their eyes closed, using electroreception in their bills to detect faint electrical signals from prey. Nearly everything about the platypus seems contradictory, as if imagined, yet it is entirely real. A living relic from an ancient lineage, still gliding through Australia's streams, soft, secretive, and wonderfully strange. Bats use echoes to see in the dark. When night settles and the world grows quiet, bats rise into the sky, navigating not with sight, but with sound. Through echolocation, bats emit high-frequency calls that bounce off objects around them. By interpreting the returning echoes, they determine size, shape, distance, and even texture. Some can capture a mosquito midair using only this acoustic map. Their calls are so precise that they can maneuver through dense forests, between branches, or through openings barely wider than their wingspan. Not all bats rely on echolocation, but those that do are among nature's most efficient flyers and hunters. They do not perceive darkness as we do. They hear space, and within that unseen world of echoes and fluttering wings, the night becomes alive with form, rhythm, and motion. Venus flytraps count before they snap. In the damp, sunlit swamps of the Carolinas, a quiet hunter waits. The Venus flytrap does not move often, but when it does, it acts with purpose. Its leaves resemble open jaws lined with delicate trigger hairs. If an insect touches one hair, nothing happens. If 2 hairs are touched, or the same hair twice within about 20 seconds, the trap snaps shut in a fraction of a second. The delay prevents false alarms caused by raindrops or debris. Only the movement of real, active prey triggers the closure. Once shut, the trap seals tightly and digests the insect over several days. Then it opens again, ready for another visitor. It is not thinking, but it is sensing, timing, responding. A plant that measures motion and acts accordingly. Penguins propose with pebbles on the rocky shores of Antarctica. Courtship takes a quiet and unusual form. When breeding season arrives, many penguin species, especially Adelie and Gen 2 penguins, begin with a simple offering, a pebble. The male carefully searches for a smooth, rounded stone and presents it to the female with a small bowing gesture. If she accepts, she places it in her nest, and together they build a home, stone by stone. These nests protect their eggs from melting snow and keep them raised above the frozen ground. The finest pebbles are valuable, and sometimes penguins steal stones from neighboring nests. Yet often, the gesture is sincere, a gift and a beginning. In the frozen stillness of the South, love speaks not in song or scent, but in the soft clink of stone against stone. Some birds can sleep while flying. High above the ocean, where there is nowhere to land, some birds have mastered the art of sleeping in flight. Species such as the frigate bird and the alpine swift can remain airborne for days or even weeks, gliding across immense distances without touching ground. To endure these journeys, they sleep with only half of their brain at a time, a state known as unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. One hemisphere rests, while the other remains alert enough to steer and avoid danger. Their eyes even alternate staying open. It is not deep sleep, but it is enough. While soaring above the sea, they drift in and out of awareness, cradled by the wind. Nature has found a way for rest and motion to exist together, a delicate balance between vigilance and surrender. And in the quiet sky, some dreams travel on wings. The human brain runs on tiny electrical sparks. Beneath your thoughts and dreams, your brain glows with silent fire. Every idea, memory, and emotion begins as an electrical signal, a spark jumping between neurons in the dark. Your brain contains about 86 billion of these cells, each forming thousands of connections, creating a vast network of communication. These impulses travel along axons, leap across synapses, and cascade into patterns that become feelings, language, and decisions. It is not electricity like that in a wire. It is biological, flowing through ion channels and driven by chemical gradients. The result is a living storm of light and thought, always shifting, always alive. Even in deep sleep, your brain hums with slow rhythms, waves of electricity pulsing beneath your skull. You are not powered by gears or wires, but by sparks, tiny flickers that give rise to awareness. Cuttlefish can disappear in plain sight. Cuttlefish are masters of vanishing. These soft-bodied cephalopods can change the color, pattern, and texture of their skin in an instant, blending seamlessly with sand, rocks, or coral. They accomplish this using specialized cells called chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores, which expand or contract to create shifting colors and optical effects. Even more astonishing, cuttlefish are colorblind. They cannot see color the way humans do, yet they match their surroundings with remarkable precision. Scientists believe they rely on brightness, contrast, and polarization to guide their camouflage. Cuttlefish can mimic not only color, but texture as well, raising bumps or smoothing their skin to resemble the surfaces they rest upon. This ability serves not only for concealment, but also for communication, hunting, and play. One creature, countless disguises, a living canvas that repaints itself with every breath. The moon controls the breeding of coral. On certain nights of the year, beneath the glow of a full moon, coral reefs stir with life. In a synchronized event of astonishing precision, corals across entire reefs release eggs and sperm into the ocean all at once. This mass spawning often happens just once a year and is timed carefully to the lunar cycle. The moon's gravity, light, and rhythm act as cues, guiding the corals to act together and increasing the likelihood of fertilization in the vast sea. For a brief moment, the water fills with drifting life, like a snowstorm of beginnings. Coral spawning is one of the most spectacular reproductive events in nature. Though rooted in place, these animals still respond to celestial rhythms. In the quiet reef, the moon signals and life answers. Frogs use their eyes to swallow. Frogs may not chew their food, but they do something even more unusual to swallow. They blink. When a frog catches prey with its sticky tongue and draws it into its mouth, it does not rely solely on throat muscles. Instead, it pulls its eyes downward into its skull. This motion presses against the roof of the mouth, helping push the food toward the throat. Sometimes you can see it happen. A slow blink, a gentle compression, and the meal disappears. It is a perfect example of evolution repurposing what already exists. No additional tools, only a clever solution. In frogs, even vision becomes part of digestion. A blink that is more than a blink, a quiet push from behind the eyes. Plants can send warnings through the air. When a plant is attacked by a hungry caterpillar, it does not endure in silence. It sends a signal. Some plants release volatile chemicals into the air, warning nearby plants that danger is close. In response, those neighbors may strengthen their defenses, producing bitter compounds, toxins, or toughening their leaves. It is a form of chemical communication, subtle and invisible to us, yet powerful in the plant world. The messages can even vary. A tomato plant may release different signals depending on whether it is being eaten by an insect or infected by a fungus. Some scientists believe this airborne messaging evolved to give related plants, such as offspring, a greater chance of survival. So when you walk through a garden or forest, remember it is not silent. It hums with information, leaf to leaf, root to root. Some trees can clone themselves for millennia. In a grove high in the mountains of Utah or Scandinavia, a tree continues to grow in a way that challenges our usual understanding. Certain species, like quaking aspens, reproduce by cloning. A single tree sends out underground roots that sprout new stems at the surface. Each trunk may appear separate, but genetically they are the same organism. One such clonal colony, named Pando, is estimated to be more than 80,000 years old. It began growing when woolly mammoths still walked the earth. Even when individual trunks die, the root system survives, sending up new growth year after year, century after century. It is a forest that is also one being, ancient, quiet, and stretched across generations. In this hidden persistence, time takes root and life endures. Earthworms are natural soil engineers. Beneath your feet, in the dark, moist soil, earthworms work quietly. They may seem simple, blind, and slow, yet they play a vital role in shaping the land. As they tunnel, earthworms aerate the soil, creating channels that allow roots to grow and water and air to circulate. They consume decaying organic matter, digest it, and return it to the earth as nutrient-rich castings. This process builds fertile soil, the foundation of forests, farms, and food systems. Their movement also blends soil layers, redistributing minerals and organic material. Charles Darwin once suggested that few animals have played such an important role in the history of the world. Quiet, tireless, and unseen, earthworms are architects of life itself. In every garden, meadow, and forest, they shape the ground beneath us. Giraffes sleep less than 2 hours a day. Towering over the savannah, giraffes seem almost too tall to rest, and in many ways, they are. These gentle giants sleep as little as 30 minutes to 2 hours each day, usually in short intervals. Often they rest standing, though occasionally they lie down briefly for deeper sleep, curling their long necks back like a bow. Their limited sleep helps them remain alert to predators. Being tall and relatively slow makes them vulnerable, so one member of a group often keeps watch while others rest. Despite minimal sleep, giraffes remain active, social, and curious animals. Scientists still do not fully understand how they thrive on so little rest, but their physiology appears finely tuned to open landscapes. Under the stars, while lions and hyenas roam, the giraffe dreams, if only for a moment. Microbes can eat plastic. Plastic was once believed to last forever, but that may not be entirely true. In recent years, scientists have identified microbes capable of breaking down certain types of plastic. Some bacteria and fungi produce enzymes that digest polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, commonly used in bottles and packaging. The process is not rapid, but it is effective, transforming synthetic waste into simpler compounds the microbes can absorb. These organisms have been discovered in landfills, soil, and even within the digestive systems of insects. Their existence offers hope for more sustainable approaches to plastic pollution. Researchers are exploring ways to enhance or replicate these enzymes for large-scale recycling. It is not a complete solution, but it is a beginning. Even within the waste we create, life adapts, finding new niches and new resources. Arctic foxes change color with the seasons. In the far northern regions of the world, the Arctic fox moves quietly across snow and stone. Its fur shifts with the seasons, a natural camouflage tuned to survival. In winter, its coat becomes pure white, blending seamlessly with ice and snow. In summer, it sheds into a brown or grey-toned coat, blending in with rocks and tundra grasses. This seasonal shift allows it to evade predators and quietly approach prey, from birds to lemmings. The Arctic fox's fur is remarkably dense, protecting it from some of the most extreme temperatures on Earth, sometimes dropping to -50 degrees Celsius. It even grows fur along the soles of its feet. With each passing season, it mirrors the land it moves across, a fur-clad shapeshifter attuned to the rhythm of the world. The deep sea brims with alien forms of life. Beneath the sunlit surface, far beyond the reach of daylight, lies a realm that feels closer to science fiction than to our planet. The deep ocean, cold, dark, and under crushing pressure, shelters creatures unlike anything found on land. There are fish with glowing lures on their heads, transparent hunters, luminous jellyfish, and spindly crabs that stride like machines. Some endure by feeding on chemicals released from hydrothermal vents. Others drift through endless twilight, bioluminescent and slow. These beings withstand immense pressure and icy temperatures, and still they flourish. In the absence of light, many have developed unusual traits, enormous jaws, strange silhouettes, or even near invisibility. We have explored only a small portion of the deep ocean, yet what we've witnessed is breathtaking. An alien world beneath our own, silent, immense, and alive with creatures waiting in the dark. Some birds rely on tools to hunt. We often connect tool use with primates or humans. Yet in the wild, certain birds display equal ingenuity. Crows, ravens, and especially New Caledonian crows have been seen crafting sticks, leaves, and even hooks to extract insects from crevices. But they are not the only ones. Green herons drop small objects onto the water's surface to draw fish within striking range. Woodpecker finches in the Galapagos use twigs like fine instruments. and Egyptian vultures lift stones to break open ostrich eggs. These birds don't simply find tools. They select them with care, alter them, and apply them to specific challenges. In some instances, young birds learn by observing older ones, passing knowledge through generations. It is problem solving. It is innovation. And it gently reminds us that intelligence is not confined to hands. It can rise on wings as well. Camels can endure weeks without water. Across the harsh deserts of Africa and the Middle East, camels travel steadily over sand and under blazing sun, calm, resilient, and seldom thirsty. They can go for weeks without drinking, and when water appears, they may consume more than 30 gallons within minutes. Contrary to popular belief, camels do not store water in their humps. They store fat. This fat supplies energy and, when metabolized, produces a small amount of water as a byproduct. Camels also preserve moisture through efficient kidneys, dry feces, and a body temperature that fluctuates to limit sweating. Their blood cells have a distinctive shape that allows smooth flow even during dehydration. Every feature of the camel is built for endurance. Long lashes shield against sand. Thick lips allow them to eat thorny plants. Broad feet support them on shifting dunes. They are not merely survivors. They are experts in scarcity. Baby chicks communicate with their mothers before hatching. Long before a chick breaks free from its shell, it begins emitting soft, rhythmic chirps from within the egg. These sounds are more than random noise. They are part of an early exchange. Mother hens respond to these calls, adjusting their actions, sometimes rotating the eggs, sometimes answering with gentle clucks. Even unhatched siblings can react to one another, helping synchronize their hatching. This quiet dialogue prepares the chick for life beyond the shell, strengthening bonds and aligning development. Some scientists believe this prenatal communication enhances survival, guiding breathing patterns and even social behavior. The egg, as it turns out, is not silent. It is filled with tiny voices announcing their arrival, a heartbeat, a breath, and a call, all before the first crack appears in the shell. Some insects can survive being frozen. Winter is unforgiving for tiny creatures, yet certain insects have evolved remarkable ways to confront the cold head-on. Species such as the Arctic woolly bear moth or the goldenrod gallfly can withstand being completely frozen. They produce cryoprotectants, special substances like glycerol that stop ice crystals from forming inside their cells. These compounds function as natural antifreeze, safeguarding tissues even when the insect's body temperature falls below freezing. In this frozen condition, their metabolism slows almost to a standstill. They do not move, feed, or grow, yet they remain alive. When spring arrives and temperatures climb, they thaw and continue as though nothing occurred. It is not simple dormancy, but suspended animation, and it stands among the most extraordinary survival strategies nature has devised. In the quiet grip of frost, life waits, steadily ticking onward, molecule by molecule. Polar bears have black skin beneath their fur. Though they appear bright white, icons of snow and ice, beneath their thick coats lies an unexpected truth. Their skin is black. This dark layer helps absorb and retain warmth from the sun, an essential advantage in the Arctic's severe climate. Their fur, while seeming white, is actually translucent. Each strand scatters light, creating the illusion of whiteness, while allowing sunlight to reach the skin below. This layered structure provides both camouflage and insulation. Polar bears are powerful swimmers and skilled hunters, depending on sea ice to reach seals and other prey. Their paws are large and broad for stability on snow, with small bumps that enhance grip. And beneath it all, their skin captures every trace of warmth the environment offers. Not only striking in appearance, but ingeniously designed for survival in a frozen realm. Jellyfish can clone themselves. They drift like apparitions, slow, silent, almost weightless. Yet jellyfish are more than simple wanderers. Certain species can replicate themselves, particularly in their early stages. If a young jellyfish, known as a polyp, is injured or split apart, it can regenerate into multiple individuals. Even adult jellyfish can sometimes bud off new jellyfish from fragments of their bodies. This is not reproduction in the usual sense. It is replication, a biological reset embedded within their form. In the case of the immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dawni, this ability extends further, enabling it to revert to a juvenile stage and begin its life cycle anew. In shifting tides, jellyfish move between damage and renewal, soft, ancient, endlessly patient. And in their quiet pulse, life endures through multiplication, reinvention, and the gentle rhythm of the sea. The human body emits a faint glow. You shine more than you realize. Like many living organisms, the human body produces a subtle radiance, a form of bioluminescence invisible to the naked eye. This light differs from the glow of fireflies or deep-sea creatures. It arises from tiny biochemical reactions when free radicals interact with lipids and proteins inside our cells. The result is the release of photons, minute bursts of light. With ultra-sensitive cameras, scientists have recorded this glow, discovering that it fluctuates throughout the day, reaching its peak in the late afternoon. Our faces tend to emit the strongest glow, likely due to higher metabolic activity. It is extremely dim, roughly 1,000 times weaker than what human eyes can perceive. Yet it exists, softly shimmering in darkness. Your body, even during sleep, is never entirely still. It hums, it breathes, and yes, it glows. Some fish can walk on land. The boundary between sea and shore is less defined than it appears. Several fish species have evolved the ability to leave water and travel across land. The mudskipper, for instance, uses its sturdy pectoral fins to move across mudflats and even climb trees. It breathes through its skin and the lining of its mouth, keeping itself moist to absorb oxygen. The climbing perch, native to Southeast Asia, can survive outside water for hours or even days, breathing air directly and crawling short distances over land. Certain eels have been observed slithering across damp grass at night in search of new streams. These amphibious adaptations are more than curiosities. They represent evolutionary bridges, echoes of the ancient transition that once carried vertebrates from sea to land. At the meeting point of water and earth, life stretches its limits. One fin, one breath, one step at a time. Fire ants construct floating rafts from their own bodies. When floods rush through their habitats, fire ants do not scatter in panic. Instead, they gather, gripping one another with mandibles and legs. Thousands link together to form living rafts that drift across the water. Each ant clings to the next, creating a tightly interlocked, water-resistant structure capable of carrying the colony, including the queen, larvae, and workers, to safety. The raft remains flexible yet buoyant. Air trapped between their bodies keeps it afloat. If disturbed, it shifts and reshapes itself, adapting to the movement of the water. No single leader directs this construction. It emerges from simple rules followed by each ant, local actions giving rise to collective resilience. These living rafts can endure for weeks. They are not merely survival tactics. They are living machines. In the turmoil of floodwaters, a vulnerable species becomes a single floating organism, calm, unified, and unstoppable. A drop of seawater contains thousands of organisms. Dip your fingers into the ocean, and you touch an immense unseen world. Within a single drop of seawater, there may be thousands, even millions, of microscopic life forms, tiny plankton, algae, bacteria, viruses, larvae, and more drift together in a dense, swirling mixture. Many are translucent, jewel-like, or shaped like alien sculptures. Some glow in darkness. Others form the foundation of the marine food web, sustaining ecosystems from coral reefs to whales. These microscopic beings play vital roles in oxygen production, carbon cycling, and even climate regulation. We seldom notice them, yet they are always present, carried by currents, multiplying in sunlight, or hidden in the depths. A drop of water holds a universe. The ocean, it turns out, is composed of galaxies. Life can thrive in boiling acidic pools. In the hostile terrain of volcanic springs, where temperatures soar and acids simmer, life still persists. Places such as Yellowstone's hot pools or Ethiopia's Danakil Depression are home to extremophiles, microorganisms that flourish in conditions lethal to most life forms. Some tolerate heat beyond boiling. Others endure pH levels comparable to battery acid. They depend on chemosynthesis instead of photosynthesis, drawing energy from sulfur, iron, or other minerals. Their cells are uniquely adapted to resist damage from intense heat and acidity, with proteins and membranes specially structured for survival. These microbes may resemble Earth's earliest life, and perhaps the type of organisms we could one day discover on distant planets. In the harshest environments, life does more than survive. It innovates, it secures a foothold in fire, and it seems to whisper, where conditions permit, life will attempt to exist. Plants can calculate to survive the night. As darkness settles and photosynthesis ceases, plants must carefully regulate their stored energy, and they accomplish this through biological arithmetic. During daylight, they produce sugars from sunlight, storing them as starch. At night, they gradually break down that starch to sustain themselves. Here is the remarkable part. They divide the amount of stored energy by the number of hours remaining until dawn, adjusting their rate of consumption accordingly. Too rapid, and reserves are depleted before morning. Too slow, and energy remains unused. This precise biological division, guided not by conscious thought, but by molecular signals, enables plants to endure with minimal resources. It is not awareness, yet it is astonishingly accurate. Within every leaf, a silent calculation unfolds, and each night, without sight or thought, a plant makes a plan. Because even in rest, life continues to reason. Owls fly in near silence. When an owl glides through the night sky, the air seems undisturbed. Its flight is almost soundless, a mastery of stealth refined over millions of years. The secret lies in its wings. Owls possess uniquely structured feathers with soft-edged primary feathers that disrupt turbulence and a velvety surface that absorbs sound. Even the spacing between their feathers is optimized to reduce noise. This silence grants them extraordinary hunting precision, allowing them to detect the faintest rustle of prey among leaves or snow. No rush of air, no fluttering beat, only stillness. Other birds generate noise in flight, but the owl's quiet approach is its greatest advantage. It moves through darkness like a shadow with wings, a feathered phantom, heard only when it chooses to speak. Some worms can regenerate their entire bodies, slice many animals in half, and they die. But certain flatworms, such as planarians, can completely rebuild themselves from even tiny fragments. If one is cut into several pieces, each piece can grow into a whole, fully functioning worm. This extraordinary regenerative capacity comes from a unique group of stem cells known as neoblasts. These cells can transform into any other cell type, reconstructing muscles, nerves, organs, and even the brain. Scientists examine these organisms to better understand regeneration and whether similar processes might one day help repair damage in our own bodies. In the still waters of freshwater pools, the flatworm drifts and divides, and each time it is broken apart, it returns intact, life refusing to be erased. Pigeons can recognize human faces. They may seem ordinary, fluttering through city streets and pecking at scattered crumbs. Yet pigeons are far more perceptive than they appear. Research has shown that they can distinguish individual human faces, remembering who has fed them and who has not. Even when people change their clothing, pigeons can still identify them based solely on facial features. This skill is part of their highly developed visual memory, which also allows them to navigate long distances and even differentiate between artistic styles or written words in laboratory experiments. Once trained, some pigeons can categorize objects or learn ordered sequences, behaviors once believed to be limited to primates. Amid the noise of urban life, they fade into the background. But these birds observe, recall, and adapt. The city is their sky, and you may already be familiar to them. Your body carries ancient viral DNA. Inside your cells lies a hidden record, not only of your ancestors, but of ancient infections. Approximately 8% of the human genome originates from retroviruses that once infected our distant forebears. These viruses inserted their genetic material into reproductive cells, and over time, their DNA became permanently integrated into ours. Across millions of years, some of these viral sequences have mutated into silence. Others have been repurposed by evolution, taking on useful roles in processes such as brain development and placenta formation. In a very real sense, you are partly viral, not infected, but shaped by echoes of ancient struggles, now woven into the instructions that define who you are. The human body is not a single narrative. It is a library of survival stitched together from beings long forgotten. The largest living organism is a hidden fungus. It doesn't tower, it doesn't travel, it doesn't roar. Yet the biggest living being on Earth is a fungus, living quietly beneath a forest in Oregon. This single Armillaria fungus stretches underground across more than 2,000 acres, forming a vast network of mycelium, the thread-like structures of fungal life. It is believed to be thousands of years old. Above the surface, it occasionally produces mushrooms, but the true organism remains below, feeding on tree roots and linking the forest in a silent web. It isn't the tallest, fastest, or brightest, yet in size, age, and reach, nothing compares. The unseen world under your feet may be more alive than what grows overhead. Bees can learn by watching one another. Bees are not only busy, they are remarkably intelligent. In one study, scientists trained bees to roll tiny balls into a target to earn a sugar reward. Other bees observing nearby quickly mastered the task simply by watching. They even refined the method, discovering more efficient ways to complete it. This kind of social learning, observing and imitating, is uncommon outside primates and birds. Bees, despite their small brains, appear to possess a flexible intelligence that extends beyond pure instinct. Inside the hive, knowledge spreads like nectar, not through speech or formal teaching, but through quiet demonstration followed by action. The hum of wings carries more than pollen. It carries ideas. Some fish sleep with half of their brain awake. Sleep is universal, yet the way it occurs differs greatly. Certain fish, such as parrotfish and some species of sharks, display unihemispheric sleep. One half of the brain rests, while the other remains active. The awake half stays alert, monitoring the environment and guiding slow, steady movement. This adaptation allows fish to stay aware of predators, currents, and obstacles, even during rest. In dolphins and whales, a similar pattern enables them to breathe consciously and remain afloat. Beneath the water, sleep is never complete. It is partial and vigilant, a careful balance between recovery and survival. Even in rest, the ocean remains watchful. Chameleons change color for emotion, not only camouflage. Chameleons are famous for their dramatic color shifts, but these changes are not solely for blending into surroundings. Their colors reflect mood, temperature, and social communication. When relaxed, they may appear green or brown. During conflict, excitement, or courtship, they can transform into vivid yellows, blues, or reds. They accomplish this not by altering pigments, but by adjusting tiny crystals within their skin that reflect light differently as they rearrange. It is structural color, governed by physics rather than paint. Through shifting hues, chameleons send messages, warnings, invitations, or signs of submission. The forest becomes a stage, and their skin becomes language, not merely concealment, but expression. The Earth's magnetic field guides animal migration. All around us, invisible lines of force extend from pole to pole, forming the planet's magnetic field. Many animals are able to sense it. Sea turtles use magnetic signatures to return to the exact beaches where they were born. Birds such as robins and warblers travel thousands of miles using an internal compass. Salmon navigate from the ocean back to the precise stream where they first hatched. Even certain insects and bacteria align themselves using this field. The exact mechanism remains partly unknown. It may involve microscopic crystals of magnetite within the body or light-sensitive proteins in the eyes, yet the outcome is unmistakable. The Earth offers direction, and living creatures respond. Life keeps discovering new ways to begin again. Despite catastrophes, extinctions, and overwhelming odds, life has never fully stopped. It arose near boiling ocean vents, spread across continents, took to the air, plunged into the depths, tunneled underground, and soared through open skies. It adapted to freezing cold, intense heat, acid, vacuum, and time itself. Whenever it seemed trapped, it reshaped itself and found another path forward. It grew feathers, fur, armor, and thought. It constructed coral reefs and root systems, nests and cities. Even now, in the deepest caves, the saltiest lakes, and the hottest springs, life is emerging again and again, not flawless, not always graceful, but endlessly persistent. In you, in me, in every leaf, breath, and cell. The experiment continues, and the story is still unfolding. And now, with the final fact gently set in place, allow the world to grow quiet around you. We have wandered through oceans and forests, deserts and tundras, mountain peaks and ancient roots. We have listened to the silent exchanges of plants, the glow of jellyfish, the songs of whales, and through it all, one gentle truth remains beneath the surface. Life is extraordinary, not because it is perfect, but because it endures, it adapts, it survives, and it continues to astonish us. Somewhere at this very moment, a coral releases its eggs into the darkness, a bird glides in sleep, a flower measures the footsteps of a bee. You are part of this story as well, not separate from nature, but formed from it. Cells and sparks, memory and motion, a living thread in Earth's long unfolding pattern. So wherever you are, let your mind grow still. Allow your breath to slow. Let your thoughts soften at the edges. The journey does not end. It simply pauses here until curiosity calls once more. Sleep well, and thank you for dreaming with us.